You feel this nervousness on the phone there?
Sir, I've been trying to make an urgent phone call up there.
Well, I don't think it's something I want to do on an overseas phone.
You gotta make some phone calls. Hang up the phone. Prank caller. Prank caller.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to Packernet After Dark. This is the call-in show, the Packernet Podcast Network. If you'd like to call in, if you'd like to participate in the show, please feel free to do so. The phone number here is 608-501-0718. New callers go directly to the front of the line. Ooh, who is that? Oh, we don't have any new callers, but we will get started with Jersey Mike.
Hey, Ron, it's Jersey Mike. So you'll probably get to this phone call a little bit later on. So when I say Happy Thanksgiving, it's a few days late, but whatever. Happy Thanksgiving to all you degenerate Packers fans. I love y'all. Anyway, I just wanted to call in to say one thing. I have been screaming for this team since we lost to the Detroit Lions the way that we did, to go out there and start playing like we hungry, like we demons. We're ready. Everything that we've done these past 2 weeks, or these past two games, 49ers smoked them. Dolphins smoked them. Now, don't get me wrong. We got away with a few things against the Dolphins. We're not going to have that happen all the time. But then again, you know, they should have called that pass interference down on, Keanu Neal when Christian Watson went up for the ball. And you know what? Christian Watson, love that guy. I love that guy right now. Quay Walker, I love that guy. And Agbar, I love that guy. Rashawn Gary, I love that guy. Dude, I just love everybody on this Packers team. I'm so excited. So, here's my promise to you. Right now, I'm calm and happy. But come next Thursday, when the Packers go to beat the Lions up, go, baby, go Pack, go on to the next Happy Thanksgiving again.
I think that's also probably a pretty good indicator of the game that we had, maybe even the last 2 weeks, in terms of how much it actually matters. Look at the confidence we now have playing the Lions. I don't think if you were to go back maybe 3 weeks ago, there'd be a lot of confidence. Right now, I think a lot of people, there's always the more negative end of the spectrum that never thinks we're going to win, never thinks anything good is going to happen. But there's definitely a shift, first of all, with me, and second of all, what I'm hearing in these calls with the mentality of Packer fans. And I think that tells you that what we're seeing is giving us more confidence. The things that we've not been seeing, we're starting to see. The people we've not been happy with, we're starting to be happy with. So, again, there's no guarantees about anything. It's a Thursday game, which is always weird. It's a divisional game, which is always weird. And again, out of 10 times, neither team would win 10 out of 10 times, so you don't know which one it's going to be. Probably pretty close to a coin flip, but I don't think there's a whole lot of feeling of we can't win this game, or we probably won't win this game, or we got a 30% chance, 3 out of 10 of winning this game. I think most people feel like we're 6 out of 10, maybe. Probably, feeling a little bit better. I don't think most of the national media would agree with that, but I don't really give a crap. They're gushing over the Lions, so they're going to continue to gush as long as they continue to win. That's just how that goes. They pretend to be super great analysts, but really they just look at the record and then get excited about things. They overhype people based on the fact that the team's good. And to some degree, they're starting to do that with the Packers. I mean, they're now all of a sudden it's, oh man, the Packers are going to be, they're serious, this, that, or the other. Bottom line is I don't super care about any of that. What I care about is the fact that I've watched the Lions, and they're a good team. I'm not saying they're not a good team. They are. But the idea that they're this massive juggernaut and we're this sort of fraudulent team that's fumbling through wins, I don't think so. I think the Lions have got their teeth kicked in quite a bit. I think they've narrowly lost to teams that didn't play very well. Again, I think the Packers game, the Texans game, the Bears game, I don't really remember the Vikings game, but maybe that game. There's a lot of games I've watched the Lions where I go, yeah, you won, but that could have gone either way, dude. And that Bears game probably should have lost that game. So, Am I massively impressed with the Detroit Lions? No, I'm not. Doesn't mean we're going to beat them, but I'm starting to get in that mode where I'm thinking, I kind of think we're a better team. I think if we play a clean game and they play a clean game, I think we win the game. That's kind of where I'm at with it.
Hey, Ryan. This is Bill in South Carolina.
What's up?
Just wanted to say happy Thanksgiving. Hope you had a good one.
Thank you.
It was a fantastic Thanksgiving in my house because turkey always tastes better when the Packers win. Go Pack Go looked great. Big win yesterday. Keep stacking the wins, which is fantastic. Defense played very good. The offense really, really played well. Special teams was good. It was a great game, great day. Just wanted to say that the PFF grades, if Kraft and Jacobs don't get 90s, then that's an invalid system. That's all I'm saying. The way they finished, they should get 90s for the whole game, just the way they finished their runs and their catches.
Yeah.
It was great to see. The effort by the whole team was very, very pleasing, and that if we can see that all the time, win, lose, or draw, I'm happy with that. So anyway, go Pack Go, and happy Thanksgiving to all the Packer fans out there. Later.
Well, it is funny you said that because although they didn't actually get exactly 90, they did in the receiving game, actually. 91 for Tucker Kraft and 91 for Josh Jacobs. Overall, it was an 89.7, which is basically 90, and Josh Jacobs 86.4. So as far as I'm concerned, yeah, they both basically did get 90s. So funny you said that because those are the two that did grade out extremely well.
Hey, Beer Chief Benny here. Just want to say, yesterday's game, I think, possibly was our most complete game. Although I sit there and I still think that the offense and the defense really, they're not even at their full potential yet. Like, we just still have not seen, I don't know what to say. Like, it just feels like there's more there. You know what I mean?
And I think that's fair. I think even the players have said that, I mean, it's not even necessarily a critique to say, to complain, I guess. It's more or less to say that was good. That's more of what I wanted to see. I know that ain't peak Packers, though. And that's a good thing because if this is as good as they're going to get, they got a shot. But I know there's a lot left in the tank. And if they can get to that point, now we're cooking with gas.
But, you just hope that LaFleur just keeps being creative. He was so creative these last two games, man. And if we can just bring that creativity to playing the Lions, I think we're going to be really good, and we're going to be in a good spot. And, I look at it like this, man. Like last year, I don't know what our record was at this point, but we didn't have 9 wins until the end of the season. Yeah. So, we're at nine wins already with 4 or 5 games to go. That's pretty amazing, man. And I really do think that this is a Super Bowl contending team. Granted, they still need to clean some things up, man. They have got to stop with this stupid offsides crap and these penalties. Like Jenkins, come on, man. It's just stupid stuff, And I think that's the one thing that's going to get in our way. So if we can just stop doing that crap, and if Quay and McDuffie and our linebackers play good, and LVN keeps doing what he's been doing, or what he did, I guess the last 2 games, it's going to look good. But the thing is as long as our D-line keeps improving, I mean, that's going to be our fallback, really, is our D-line. But if they can just be somewhat competent, I trust that this defense can do stuff. So that's all I got to say, man. And I'm looking forward to everything with Packernet. And I'm very thankful I don't know if I said this, but, I know it's the day after Thanksgiving, but I'm thankful for all you guys, all you people that call in. I love listening to you guys call in, and Ryan, I love listening to you, man. And just really grateful to be a Green Bay Packers fan. Better than being a Bears fan. Anyways, go Pack, go.
Yeah, I mean, defensive line, pass rush, that is critically important to the success of a team in general. I mean, it's one of the most important things affecting the other team's quarterback, because quarterback is very important. So if you can take theirs away, you set yourself up to a pretty sizable advantage. And I think that that's starting to ramp up, and that's huge. And the fact that we got as many wins as we did, having as much of a problem with pass rush as we did, especially the front four, but even as a team, they weren't ranking very good, largely because despite the success blitzing, we just didn't blitz very often. But now we're starting to win up front. Lucas Van Ness is starting to win. Rashawn is I guess, continuing to win. We got Wyatt back, and he's a, 11, 12% guy right now. We've got Mosby and Brenton Cox now starting to play since Preston is gone, and both of those guys are, playing at a level that you would hope to have for a pass rusher, which, again, we didn't get from really anybody, but especially Preston. It was just, there was nothing there. And now everything's starting to ramp up. It's starting to work. I'm not attributing all of that to Preston, but I do know sometimes, you got something kind of just jump starts the system, And maybe it's a little shock to the system to get rid of a guy like Preston and kind of realize, like, holy crap, we got to get moving.
Hey, Ryan, Beer Cheese Benny again. Listen, I'm going to tell you something that really pissed me off yesterday, okay? It was really the one thing that pissed me off about yesterday is we ruined our chance at getting scorigami. If you don't know what scorigami is, go look it up on X, Twitter. Basically, it's where if like a game ends in a score that's never happened before. We had a chance. All we needed to do was hold them to the 11 points and score one more touchdown, making it 37-11. That would have been scorigami. But we didn't do it. And I'm actually kind of pissed about it because I love scorigami. I love when it happens. It's just so cool because it's like, oh my God, that score literally has never happened before. So anyways, that's my only gripe. I'll get over it. Let's move on. We feasted on some dolphin, man. Wow, that was a great Thanksgiving for the Packers, having seafood, a little bit different, a little shaking things up. Last year was lion. Well, that must have been tasty. I wonder how dolphin tastes. Although I'm pretty sure it's illegal. I don't think you're supposed to eat dolphin. So, yeah, let's get ready for the Detroit Lions. Freaking gimpy arm Goff. He's such a gimp. He's not good. And let's freaking break necks. Let's freaking just destroy the Lions. Let's kill them. Just like Brian Branch tried to kill Bo Melton. Let's just kill Jahmyr Gibbs. Let's just freaking murder everyone. Dude.
What is happening right now?
And I want Jordan Love to have his best game of all time. I want him to throw for 5 touchdowns. All right, see you.
All right. That was weird. I got to be honest. It was maybe that made more sense than I realized because, I was kind of half looking up scorigami and half listening. And I just kept hearing, kill this guy, kill this guy, kill this. And I immediately tuned all the way back in. It was like, why? How did we get from scorigami to let's kill everyone? I don't know. That was crazy. I'm on this weird little kick. 73-0 happened, huh? I'm on this weird little kick where I'm trying to build some cool websites. I'm having a hard time because I'm stuck on the main one. Not stuck. I mean, I'm making progress. It's just a freaking massive project. But it got me thinking about doing some cool stuff with scorigami. But it looks like, for the most part, this NFLscorigami.com has pretty much got it. The only thing they're missing that I think would be needed would be to kind of give you some direction in terms of, where we need things to go in order to get a scorigami. You know what I mean? Like you just laid out if we'd have got this and they'd have got that. Is there a path and what is the easiest path for scorigami? But, whatever. I don't think 10% plus chance for this game. That's kind of interesting. So what does that mean? I don't know what that means. I don't know that it would be cool enough to pull everybody away from this NFLscoreagami.com site, plus how many people would actually care. But it could be a fun project. I don't know. But yeah, for sure, kill everybody, dude. That's that sounds dope. Why don't we take a break, and we'll come back and hear from Jesse from Oregon.
All right. Long time listener, so thanks for all you do.
Sure, dude.
There's something funny about the Bears. Oh, I mean, there's a lot of funny, but I mean, there's something particularly funny about this last game insofar as everybody's screaming at Eberflus, and I understand, high emotions.
Bro, you're going to make exactly my point, and you're going to tick me off. I hate when you guys beat me to the punch here.
But the guy had to make a decision. When there was 30 seconds left, he either could call his timeout then, and then they could run a play, and then they had to run the kicker out there really, really fast because, they couldn't stop the clock. Or he could have trusted his quarterback to run a play, and he then called a timeout after the play, and and the kicker could have gone up there without being in a hurry. And looking at that scenario, I think I would have chosen the second one. There's an issue, though, insofar as obviously Caleb took too long. But everybody's blaming Eberflus. And it's like he had to make a decision when there was 30 seconds left. He can't wait till 15 seconds and then call a timeout. Like, by then you can't,
Well, so I'm mostly in agreement. I was almost going to entirely defend Eberflus, but I don't know that it's entirely defensible. I think Caleb Williams deserves the vast majority of the blame. You freaking absolute moron, snap the ball. Snap the ball. I don't care. You don't have to get everybody set. You don't have to do all this crap. Snap the ball, launch that freaking thing out of bounds. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. You have to stop the clock. Now, as far as Eberflus, I do think you need to call a timeout maybe when you get to, 20 seconds or something like that, because at some point as a head coach, you have to realize that your quarterback is a freaking moron, and he's ruining everything. You call a timeout, you walk out, you tell him, take your helmet off, and then you smack him right in the mouth. Because you made me waste a timeout just to cover for your stupidity, which, by the way, he wasted 2 timeouts. I don't know why everybody seems to forget this. They had to waste a timeout because Caleb couldn't get to the line and call a play in time. In other words, to prevent a delay of game. They had 2 timeouts. They had to burn one to protect Caleb, and they should have burned the second one to protect Caleb from being too stupid. But instead, he didn't. Like you said, he trusted his quarterback to do the right thing, and he didn't, and everything went to hell. But I do think when you get to the point where it's like, okay, 15 seconds or something, we have to call a timeout. You have to call a timeout, and then we go from there. And then, unfortunately, you're probably going to have to trust your quarterback again and say, look, dummy, you freaking moron. We have 2 options here. You throw it at somebody who's going out of bounds, like quick out route, or you throw it out of bounds and we kick the field goal. That's it. If the only other option is somebody streaking wide open toward the end zone, throw it that way. But you ultimately had to protect the quarterback from himself because that guy is just everybody's an idiot, but he deserved the majority of the blame. I just think the coach needed to realize the quarterback is not getting the job done. We have to call a timeout because we're not going to just let this be one play and done. We just need a field goal here. No way I'm with a timeout in my back pocket going to make sure the last play is a Hail Mary when we had over 30 seconds to get a play off. Beyond that, there was some talk about the play call was like a QB draw, and Caleb's like, no, that's stupid, and so we're going to change the play. Now, maybe if that's even true, I don't know. Maybe the thought was they're just going to try to grab a couple yards and then call a timeout. And Caleb didn't recognize that and changed the play and freaking ruined everything. I have no idea. The whole thing seems stupid to me. Get up to the line and throw a pass.
The waiting game, I mean, there's no point. Like, you're not going to be able to run a play, run the kicker out there,
once he committed to running a play, he kind of had to go through it. The thing is, Caleb took way too long. And so I think it's just kind of funny that everybody's screaming at Eberflus. Not that he doesn't deserve anything.
Right.
No, but in this scenario, I don't think that the problem was him.
Right.
As much as it was.
Because as soon as that play was done, it shouldn't have been call timeout. That's not how you run that. You don't say, let's burn the last timeout with 38. You have more than enough time to get up and run a play and preserve that timeout and save it for the absolute last minute. When you've got 3 seconds left or whatever, call a timeout, kick the field goal. That's the way that you should play that. So the idea that Eberflus is primarily an idiot because, as soon as the sack happened, we should have just immediately called a timeout? No, that's not correct.
Is Caleb taking 20 years to run a play when he, had plenty of time? He ran a play, a little down, got a few yards and then went down. But obviously that didn't happen, and now everybody's blaming Eberflus like it was him out there who took 20 seconds to run a play.
Right.
I think it's funny. I know emotions get high, but people are still blaming him. And it's like, he might reserve a lot of blame for a lot of stuff, but for that particular series, you have to put the blame on the quarterback. He's the only one on the field. So, I don't know. Just a thought. Anyway, thanks for all you do.
And again, if I may remind you of that second timeout that should have existed, if there was that second timeout, he would have called a timeout immediately after the sack. Because you got two. Why not? Right? At that point, if Caleb didn't waste your second timeout, you could have easily called a timeout there, run the right play, and you could run a bunch of plays with 38 seconds left in a timeout. So I don't know, man. I think 95% of the blame on that last series, 90% maybe, is on Caleb. Whoever let a free rusher at Caleb deserves some blame. I don't know what the heck that was about. And then the coach just standing there letting it happen, just watching it happen as the clock ticks down 20, 15, 10. Like at no point were you just like, all right, I guess I have to call a timeout. I cannot believe what's happening right now. But I apparently have to call a timeout because this quarterback is a freaking moron. Absolute idiot.
Howdy, Pack Daddy. This is Jared, the Uber driver from Texas. And happy Victory Friday. Hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving. Got some good turkey, whatever y'all eat. I mean, apparently I'm not for prime rib, but that checks out with, I bet, how his wife does his eyebrows. But, hey, we got another great dub. And it could have been more, again. Yeah. Oh, my God. Just that one pass interference call not called on Christian Watson, that was almost there. I mean, could have been a slightly better pass, and it would have been a touchdown. But great game overall. And, they kind of got a lucky touchdown with Tyreek Hill. I really feel like if we had stopped them on that down and they would have gone for it on fourth down, I really feel like we would have stopped them again. So, still a great game. Great way to spend Thanksgiving evening. But yeah. And I didn't know that Robert Rochelle went through something this week, but I hope he's feeling better. But he had a great game. And, man, big play Quay out there getting a sack on that fourth down. And just so much improvement from our team, even though we're still injured. And I think hopefully this is us getting hot at the right time. We'll see. Only time will tell. But go Pack Go. You'll have a great day. And get all the best Black Friday deals. Go Pack Go.
Yeah, that probably is a under-discussed topic. The situation with Robert Rochelle, very, very sad. Would have been bigger news if he was a bigger player, obviously, which is somewhat unfair. But, yeah, he went through a personal tragedy. Apparently 2 people close to him, I don't know exactly who, but 2 people very close to him passed away. And then despite that, he goes out and plays and does a good job for the Packers, help them secure that victory. But yeah, it definitely feels like we're getting hot at the right time. It's a good feeling. I'm actually watching the Vikings game right now. So far, it's going good, 12-6. Cardinals cannot do hardly anything against the Vikings. The good news is they tend to get down into field goal range and have made most of the field goals. That's the big difference right now in this game. Defenses have dominated. Vikings just had to punt. If they can not just score again, but actually put 7 on the board, they could really put a exclamation point on this. But that would really round out this week as far as having a good week. Bears lost. Vikings hopefully lose. Of course, the Lions won, but they looked like garbage and almost lost to the Bears, so it still kind of feels good. Packers obviously beat Miami and in convincing fashion. So, yeah, feels good.
Ryan, what's up, man?
What's
Pal
up?
from Madison. It is Victory Friday. Oh, God, it's so good. This is so good, man. Black Friday, got the win in the bank yesterday in front of the whole country, making everybody watch our team beat down the Dolphins. Oh, so great. Just reflecting a lot of things to say. I guess I'll leave a lot of it for other people, but one takeaway stands out right away is when the Dolphins showed a little bit of life for the defense and defending that offense when they're in a 4-down mode, it's really difficult. And for them to take that Dolphins offense all the way down the field and then on 3rd down and 4th down to deny them and turn them over. I mean, that, and do it without one of your best players in Alexander, with Waddle and with Hill out there. It's just beyond impressive, man. Like, I don't even know who, because didn't Valentine go out? So we're literally, it's just Nixon and Valentine, right? And then I guess Stokes. I don't know how they're doing it. If you showed me that personnel on paper, I would have said it was going to be a bloodbath. So kudos. And the other thing I noticed is just, I was totally unprepared for how emotional it actually made me to watch the Packers get their turkey.
Yeah.
And especially with Love being snubbed last year, but just kind of go through everything. And then, you know, it's not just the Packers, it's like their intersection with family and holidays and things. It just made me sentimental and appreciative. And it was just really kind of emotional watching those guys dig into that turkey afterwards and Jacobs running off the field with the platter. I mean, it was just a really freaking great moment. And I know, like, this is all about championships and everything for the Packers, but man, as a fan, you gotta just try to take a mental photograph of that
Sure.
type of a scene and just keep that, you know, because only one team's going to win it all. But you get moments like that along the way, you know, like Holmgren would always say, you got to enjoy the journey, right? So I hope everybody just enjoys the journey. That was just a beautiful moment for our team yesterday. So everybody enjoy this holiday weekend, and then we can we'll be rooting for the Cardinals this weekend. So
Absolutely.
oh man, it's so great to be a Packer fan sometimes. Yeah, sometimes it really is. It really is a blessing. So peace out, Packer fans. Love y'all. Have a great holiday weekend.
No, it is, and you're right. And that was cool. It was in Lambeau. You got a little snow in the air. Jordan got his turkey leg, as did everybody else, and just watching, you know, I mean, it's cool for a lot of reasons having Josh Jacobs carry that off, because Josh Jacobs is a Green Bay Packer. You know, I mean, you think about how many years we didn't have running backs. And we had guys, but it was like, yeah, you know, Starks was decent. You know, he was okay for us for quite a while. Eddie obviously had some appeal. He kind of took some time to get going or whatever. Aaron Jones obviously is a phenomenal running back, but he needed to be used sparingly, and he was injured a lot. I mean, this guy is incredible, and he's a Packer now. And he's young, so he probably will be for a while. I mean, maybe he has a shorter shelf life because of how much of a beating he takes. I don't know. That remains to be seen. But, I mean, another great... It's a great team to root for, is the bottom line. And again, there's complaints and there's problems and there's things that we can talk about, but you're right that along the way it's important to take those mental notes and to stop and appreciate it, because we haven't always had great Packer teams. If you think back, you know, as much as it's like, man, you know, without Jair, it's a little bit rough. Do you remember the Demarius Randall days? You remember when we had the two worst safeties in football? Was it M.D. Jennings and somebody else? It was just appalling how bad they were. 18-ish when Ted Thompson was trying to patchwork that offensive line, and it was, I don't even remember all the guys' names, but it was getting real brutal. We went from not only having great offensive linemen, we had starters as backups to this just patchwork offensive line. We brought in, it was the same year we brought in some defensive linemen. I don't remember their names exactly. There was a couple guys, I think, from San Francisco. They were way down the line. Ted Thompson didn't like to spend in free agency, so if he's going to go get somebody, it's going to be pretty cheap. Quentin Dial, wasn't that his name? They're not good. You know what I mean? It's like, this guy's not good. But Ted knew he had to do something. He's like, fine, I'll spend money in free agency, whatever. This is a very young team with a lot of guys to get excited about. I mean, listen, Lucas Van Ness, maybe, aside from these last 2 days, there's reason to be concerned or at least disappointed. But there's also optimism. There's no optimism with guys like Nick Perry or Clay Matthews at the end of his career, because it's all just downhill from here. Quentin Dial, is never going to be a good football player. Lucas Van Ness, there's reason to believe he could become a monster. It might take some time, but this is year one in this system. He's got to learn the whole hand in the dirt thing again. You know what I mean? It's like, you got to give him a minute here. You're starting to see a little something. It's a very young team, and it's exciting to see this young team do young team stuff. And there probably is going to be a time down the line when it's like, man, remember when we had all these, like in the span of a couple years, we got Watson, we got Dobbs, we got Reed, we got Kraft, we got, just all these guys within a span of like 2 years. It is a cool thing that we have going on here. And the other thing that just occurred to me, you got to remember, man, and this may be part of the reason why the Packers ascend in the second half of the year. It might have something, partially to do with the team kind of clicking and all that kind of stuff. But also, being a young team means you're probably less likely to start falling off at the end of the year. You watch that quarterback series from, I think, last year on Netflix, and, Pat Mahomes is just working out like a maniac. And for Kirk Cousins, it was all just pain management. Everything he was doing, I mean, not to say he wasn't working out at all, but, man, he had to go to doctors and chiropractors and acupuncture and every kind of thing that he could possibly do just to stop the pain. And, older guys are going to start slowing down. You're going to see guys like Rodgers, although, he had not the best day, but he saw him running around a little bit. But guys, the older guys, man, especially the bigger guys, offensive linemen, defensive linemen, they're going to start to slow down a little bit. It's getting late in the year. Your body doesn't recover as much. It's getting colder. I remember Brett Favre, man, when it got cold, he fell off hard. He looked good in the beginning of the year, and then suddenly he was like, oh boy, he's falling off now. Touchdown Cardinals. Oh boy. Yeah, very good point, Mr. Kyle from Madison. Why don't we take our second break? We got another call from Kyle from Madison.
Ryan, what's up? Kyle from Madison.
What's up?
So I don't know if you caught any of the different sports shows today, or even just regular people on YouTube reacting to the Packers. And it's just, man, it drives me crazy because before the game, you'll hear people saying it's a horse apiece, and, the Dolphins are on a 3-game streak and they're hot and they're blah, 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 and the Niners, and we don't know, and then the game ends and the Packers beat the hell out of them. And the same people, it's like we're supposed to just have goldfish memories, and they're all saying, well, of course the Dolphins are going to win, or of course the Niners are going to lose.
Right.
Or the Dolphins are going to lose, the Niners are going to lose. Of course. Like, it's all a foregone conclusion when 6 hours earlier the same person will have told me how garbage the Packers are and how, the Dolphins are going to win. You know what I mean? It's like we have to just etch-a-sketch our brains or something. What? I don't know. That makes me crazy. One thing I want to bring up, though, about what I think is underrated in this little 3-game streak the Packers have here, and that is their opponents were all in basically elimination games,
Right.
Like all 3 of these games, the Bears in Chicago, that was going to turn their season around. They were desperate. We beat them. Yeah.
Well, and the reason that's a good point is exactly what you said. As much as people want to maybe discount it now, that's what people were saying going into those games. That's the great thing about negative fans is they'll give you all the reasons in the world why we should be scared, and then apparently forget all those reasons when we end up winning and winning big, right? It's like, well, they had all the injuries. Wait a minute. You told me they're still a tough team. You told me that it's Kyle Shanahan and we can't beat the 49ers. You told me that this is a team that was backed into a corner and we should be scared of them because their playoff hopes are on the line. This is all the things you told me, and now it's, oh well, they're a 500 team with a bunch of injuries. They didn't even have a quarterback. What do you expect? It's like, well, then maybe you should have said coming into this game, I think the Packers are going to blow them out. You cannot have it both ways.
The Niners in Lambeau, they're hurt, but they need the win to keep their playoff dreams alive, and we beat them. And then you get the Dolphins come in. They've been playing well. They need that game to keep pace in the AFC wild card, and we beat them. So I just think that is one of those intangible things outside of statistics that I do think is real when you have teams like that. And for the most part, I guess in non-divisional games, we've been pretty dominant. So just thought I'd get your comments on that, because I do think that's not really captured in the stats, but all three of these teams really needed these games. And they really needed them, and the Packers denied them each of the 3 times. So pretty impressive, man. I'm walking on cloud 9 today. So anyway, let's hope Jair can get back for this Lions game. I don't know if there's any news on that. That'd be huge. And this is going to be a big 2 weeks for our favorite organization, I think. This is going to be big time. This is going to be big time. Go Pack, go.
Yeah, I mean, it's fantastic that the Packers are going up against teams, especially Miami, that is on the absolute upswing. I mean, it's all, I don't want to say it's all optimism. It's cautious optimism among Dolphins fans is what I noticed when I went out there. But, they were backed up against a wall largely because they lost their quarterback. And then the last 3 games, they're playing like the best team in football, especially the last 2 games. And, this is win and your playoff hopes are actually looking quite good. Lose and you're kind of in a, kind of screwed a little bit. And I cannot believe that they're showing it on the screen right now. Let me pause this. NFC playoff picture. It's just crazy to look up and see 9-3. Like, I know the Packers are doing well, but when I see it, I'm like, that's not right. Is that right? 9-3? The Vikings are 9-2. I mean, they just drove down this. I knew that was going to frickin' happen, by the way. As soon as it's a defensive game, every game I've ever watched where it's a defensive game and nobody can do anything, as soon as one team goes up, the other team, boom, right down the field scores. Every effing time, it drives me insane. I cannot stand it. Anyways, and then you look at the other teams. Washington is 7-5. They're dominating right now, but they've fallen below the Packers. And then the in the hunt teams, the best team is the Cardinals, and they have 6 wins. So either they win and the Vikings lose, which is great for us. We're both 9-3, or the Vikings go on to win, and Arizona remains a 6-win team, meaning nobody even has 6 wins or more than 6 wins. That is sort of a threat to us. Hilarious. Kyler Murray's freaking brain dead. What an absolute jag-off. This game is basically put away. Your defense lets him march down the field, and Kyler Murray just launches a ball to the deep safety with no wide receivers anywhere in town. Just straight garbage. He thought he was throwing it away. He threw it and just didn't look. He wasn't even throwing it to the receiver. He was trying to throw it away. He turned his head and didn't even look. Didn't even notice until later that it was intercepted. Oh, you stupid. Why did you throw it so far down the field then if you're just throwing it away? Anyways, any freaking ways. Yeah, the Packers beat teams on the ascent that were desperate to win these games, and they beat them in convincing fashion. I mean, there's nothing more that you could possibly have asked for from the Packers the last 2 weeks.
Hey, Ryan, how you doing?
Hey.
Pac-Man here. Just want to say I appreciate that little touch you had the other day with the jinxing the certain players. It worked out in our favor.
Yeah.
They did a really good job, I think. I mean, despite love is just love. And it blows with the winds. But, there's other teams that are way worse than us. Take the Bears, for example. They find new ways. They invent new ways on losing games.
which I don't understand. I'm sitting there just about ready to eat my dinner, and I'm sitting there going, okay, yeah, they got this. They're in range to, like, do something. And all of a sudden time runs out. I'm like, what the F? What the F? I think everybody said, what the F? Even the announcers were like, oh, well, you would think, yeah, you would think, unless you were the Bears. Now, I don't know. Somebody has to get fired over that shit. I mean, sorry, part of my language. Somebody has to get fired over it. That was just ridiculous. Anyway, that's their problem. I'm not a Bears guy. Thank Christ. That's what I'm thankful for most of all this Thanksgiving. But let's move on to the later game, the Packers game. We did pretty good, blah, blah, blah. All of us struggled in the cold for a bit. We had some moments. But we prevailed. There's still room for improvement. And I just started hating Jason Garrett when he was saying, oh, yeah, love this, love that, love this. Like, I'm like, dude, asshole, shut up. You're not watching my team. You haven't been there with us, the Packer crew, the Packernet crew, who's seeing who's doing what here. You're just an asshole they plugged in because Chris Collinsworth didn't want to work that night because he's too important, because he's way better than Steve Lorgen and Jerry Rice. So he had to have dibs on having Thanksgiving with his family. We all got that. We don't need Jason Garrett telling us what our team needs. Am I right? Come on. Anyway, we won the game. The 3-minute monster might get me, so let me hang up right now and I'll call you right back. All right, peace.
Well, I don't remember Jason Garrett's comments, but I will definitely agree with you that I could not care any less his thoughts on what the Packers need to do anything. I mean, Jason, go be a coach that's a success somewhere before you try to talk about what Matt LaFleur needs to do. You know what I mean? Part 2.
Anyways.
Holy cow. Just so we got part 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't know if we ever had somebody call 8 times in a row, but here we go for part 2.
The 3-minute monster. I just wanted to say, I didn't want to jinx anything myself because the week before we beat the 49ers, and this week we just beat the Dolphins, right? So I got to tell you, my sister happens to be a 49ers fan.
Sorry.
My brother, who lives in Florida, is a Miami fan. And I just feasted on them all week. And while we were feasting on turkey, our Packers were feasting on some fish, no? That was pretty good. That was pretty good. It wasn't perfect, but yeah, we handled the elements way better than they did. I kind of knew that going in after watching last year's game against Kansas City. These guys cannot play in under 50 degrees. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen, but whatever, I'll take it. Go, Pack, go. I'm watching today's game with the Raiders and this and that. I'm like, watching it with my kid. He's like, oh, yeah, well, you never know. I come back, there's like 30 seconds left and whatever. The stupid center snaps it into his chest, and nobody knows what the hell's going on. And I'm like, once again, thank God I'm a freaking Packers fan. Thank God, because I can't tell you how aggravated it would be if I was a Raiders fan right there. So I'm very thankful for being a Packers fan in that moment. They had their chance. I really think this is set up to be a Packers-Chiefs Super Bowl. I'm hoping so, my friend. Anyway, go Pack, go. Hope you had a happy birthday, happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
I'll hear from you guys soon. Peace.
And I I cannot miss the opportunity to be a little bit of a douche. Dolphin isn't a fish. I think we could probably go through a bunch of teams and again, when we get ungrateful, very glad I'm not a Raiders fan. I agree. I'm glad that I'm not a Bears fan. I'm glad that I'm not a Browns fan. I'm glad that I'm not a Rams fan. I'm glad that I'm not a Jets fan. I'm glad that I'm not a Giants fan. I'm glad that I'm not a Dallas fan. I'm glad that I'm not 80% of the teams in the NFL right now. Let's do one more Pac-Man jersey, Jim, and then I think we're going to hit it.
Hey, Ryan and Packernet fan. The song I was trying to play last week when we beat the shit out of the 49ers here was Wu-Tang Clan Pinky Ring. Parentheses Uzi. I don't know what it's called. It's like, I think it's called Pinky Ring, Uzi. But it's a good one. It's on Iron Flag, the 2001 release. Awesome jam, dude. And it was just my way of saying, like, I think the Pack is back. I could be wrong, but, who knows? Jordan Love is going to be what he is. He's just Jordan Love. He's not going to change. He's just not going to change. But everybody else stepping up around him is pretty freaking awesome. So hopefully we have a nice end to the season, fellas and ladies. And go Pack, go. Peace.
Did Kyler just drop the football? I've never watched so many teams that I've been rooting for, not the Packers. Just every time I root for a team, I watch the other team. And it's like just the luckiest crap in the world keeps happening. I don't understand. 3rd and 13 now because Kyler's a friggin' idiot. Vikings going to win by 1 point. All you had to do was kick a field goal, bro. You've been getting into Vikings territory all day. Kyler, oh my Lord. 3 yards past the line of scrimmage, you thought you'd stop and throw a pass, and then you realized you can't, so you keep going, and oh, God. Oh, Kyler Murray. Good Lord. Man, you ever want to appreciate the team you have? Watch the Cardinals try to execute something. 3 timeouts with over a minute left. You burn all 3 timeouts because you're stupid. First play, you throw it right in the middle of the field. Don't use a timeout. Then you have to use a timeout because Kyler drops it. Then you have to use another timeout because Kyler decides to run but doesn't get out of bounds. And then 4th down, you have a massively underthrown ball that gets picked. It's so annoying, whether it's the Chiefs or the Lions or the Vikings. Every single time you watch these teams, it's like the game is over. They lost. The team that is playing against those teams is going to win. All they have to do is not give the game away. And they always, always, always give the game away. You're up by 6 points. Do not let them drive down and get a touchdown. What do? You let them drive down and get a touchdown. The only thing that you did right is that you sucked so bad you actually left time on the clock. They should have been able to end the game, but they just went too quickly because you sucked that much. I can't think of a better situation. If you're even a halfway competent team, especially a team that's been able to move the ball fairly well against your opponent to at least get into field goal range, about a minute and a half with 3 timeouts, I tell you what, that's pretty good. That's a good spot to be in. You just have to get in field goal range. I'll be honest, I would feel like we got better than 50% odds in that situation. And the entire series is just incompetence. It's unbelievable how stupid everybody is. Maybe that's the reason the Packers and the Vikings and the Lions and the Chiefs are where they are, because they're just not incompetent. And maybe that's all you need to be able to win in the NFL right now, is to not be incompetent, and you're going to win. Because even if you're in a losing position, the other team will give the game away. Because they're just that stupid. Jeez. Anyways, appreciate the attempt to give us some Wu-Tang. And, as far as your comments, I do think Jordan played a pretty good game. It wasn't peak Jordan Love, but he was certainly better. And some of those throws were really, really, really solid. So if we could just continue that, I think we're going to be all right. But I'm going to get out of here. You're gonna have to record tomorrow's podcast. You guys have a good rest of your day. I'll talk to you later. Have a good one. Bye-bye.